Hello everybody. I want to read some more about the Avengers versus Doctor Doom. How about you? Well, let's follow along. Real quickly, let me remind you that the Avengers have entered Doctor Doom's flying fortress, and Doom has already used his dupe, his deceived Major Bowman, to capture the Wasp, and he has trapped the Hulk and Thor. Well, what about Iron Man and Ant-Man? They are on the way. So let's go. Here comes Iron Man as he shoots down the corridor like a silent artillery shell. He's thinking, no sign of anything yet. Wait, what's that glow up ahead? It's Doom, big as life. Glad I shifted my boot jets to whisper mode so we can sneak up on Doom. But I'll put the grab on him before he knows what's... Bzack! Says Iron Man. Wow, what an electric charge. Not Doom, some kind of robot sapping my power. My systems are shutting down. Just barely enough energy left to power my chest plate, and that's all that keeps my injured heart beating. Once my energy reserves run out, I'm a dead man. Simultaneously, several levels away, here comes Ant-Man. It feels odd to be running around in costume at my normal size, but I can cover more ground more quickly this way. Here's a voice that questions Ant-Man. Major Bowman, what's he doing here? In fact, that's what Ant-Man is asking. And where's the Wasp? Bowman says, Wasp? I don't know. First things first, let's get you out of these bonds. Clank. Oh no, the door has shut. Bowman says, behind you, we're being sealed in. Ant-Man says, don't worry, Doctor Doom won't stop me or any other Avenger. Bowman asks, the Avengers are here? Why is he asking? Doesn't he know? Ant-Man says, of course we are, Major. You brought us here. Bowman says, no, I've never even met you before. I've been held prisoner in here for hours. Doom surprised me when I was inspecting this ship. The Major is quite right, Ant-Man. You were all so easy to fool. Look on the TV screen. There's Major Bowman, but he seems to be laughing at Ant-Man. He's pulling off a mask. He says, your government is rightly concerned about my activities. No, it's Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is always one step ahead of you. And so it was Doctor Doom all the time in a mask making him look like Major Bowman. And so that's how he captured the Wasp. He says, all has gone exactly as I planned. Individually, you Avengers have all garnered great reputations as, what is the term again? Ah yes, superheroes. And it is as individuals that you have fallen. Divide and conquer, says Doom, a simple, time-tested strategy for overcoming one's enemies, effective against every foe, from the weakest. And look, his assistant, probably a robot, is holding a globe containing the Wasp. To the mightiest, I trapped you as easily as I reclaimed this vessel, and now you are all as helpless as the Hulk. And we see the Hulk as he's sliding around that Teflon-coated room, being blown about by those air blasts. Patoosh, whoosh. as powerless as Iron Man, as we see Iron Man's energy being zapped by the robot. Even the god of thunder is not long for this world. And we see Thor being surrounded by those globules. Immortal or not, says Doom, those power spheres shall overwhelm you, Thor, transporting you to another dimension from which there is no escape. And Ant-Man, you'll find this gas a bit less beneficial than the one you use to reduce your size. And so, finally, he emits a gas into the room where Ant-Man and Major Bowman are. It's a very dangerous gas, I'm sure. And so Doom says, now that your final moments are being recorded for posterity, soon the entire world shall see how I have defeated the so-called mighty Avengers. And after you, the Fantastic Four, then shall Doom be master over all. He's killing us, thinks the Wasp, just to demonstrate his power, and there's nothing I can do. Or is there? What does Wasp have in mind? Major Bowman says there's no way out. We're done for. But Ant-Man has a plan. Not if I can help it. Get down on the deck, Major, away from those vents, and cover your head. And look, he's taking a pill. That pill is going to turn him into Giant Man. He says, I've added a few new tricks to my repertoire since the last time I faced Doom. All right, so this is the time when Ant-Man first becomes the Giant Man. We read that comic, didn't we? But now we're seeing him turn to Giant Man as an Avenger. So he grows and grows and grows and becomes stronger and stronger. And he strains against the roof. He says, a trap designed to hold Ant-Man won't be much good against the power of Giant Man. Sprack! And he breaks open the roof. That will release the gas, and so they'll be able to breathe again. And now Giant Man is free of Doom's trap. And Major Bowman says, that was just about the most astounding thing I've ever seen. And that's why it's told in a magazine called Tales to Astonish. But what do we do now? Asks Bowman. Now we find the other Avengers, says Giant Man, and I think I know where to start. The Hulk should be right about here. And so he breaks open the wall, reaches in, and grabs the Hulk. Hang on, fella, I've got you. Ant-Man? Says the Hulk. Not anymore. I'm Giant Man now. I'll explain later. The others are in deadly danger. This way. Give me a second. Blarf. After all that turning around, poor Hulk got dizzy and sick. Okay, now he's ready. Let's go. And so we've got the Hulk and Giant Man tearing around Doom's flying fortress. And look, Giant Man says, we're too late. Thor is already like a ghost. At least he's going down swinging the mallet, that is. Even as he fades away, Thor continues to struggle desperately against the spheres. Faster, ever faster he spins, faster than the eye can follow, until he has created a vortex which tears at the very fabric of reality. Goodness, that swinging mallet can do a lot. Zoff! And he obliterates the spheres in a single blinding burst of energy. Look, the Hulk and Giant Man have to shield their eyes from the blinding blast of energy. And so the Thor is now free. He says, Doom knew naught of my hammer Mjolnir's power to transcend time and space. Lucky you, says the Hulk. Giant Man says, hurry, we still have to save. Iron Man, that thing's killing him, says Giant Man. Not for long, says the Hulk. And so the Hulk races forward. Wham! And he knocks that robot into a million pieces. Iron Man says, weak, need recharge. Take heart, Avenger, says Thor. All the power of the storm is mine to command and control. Zack! And so Thor uses his hammer to harness the power of lightning, and he gives Iron Man an electric recharge. Whoa, some jump start, says the Hulk. You okay, Shellhead? I'll be fine, says Iron Man. Let's get Doom. And so now the four most powerful members of the Avengers are all up and about. And let's check back at Doom in the Craft's central communications room. The camera stands ready, says Doom. Bring me that globe, automaton, that is the robot. The first image the world shall see is the Wasp, helpless in the hands of Victor Von Doom. Suddenly, wham, splack, that hammer, no, it cannot be. The hammer destroys the camera and also breaks the globe free. And so Wasp is now free of the globe. And Wasp says, oh yes, it can be. Your iniquitous scheme has failed, mortal. Now you shall learn why we are called the Avengers. Thap. Thor's hammer returns to him, and now the Avengers are at their full fighting force. And so Thor slings his hammer at Doom, but Doom says, Dr. Doom is no mere mortal Asgardian, batam, and he deflects the hammer. Thor says, zounds, none but the radioactive man has ever deflected Mjolnir. And Iron Man says he's using some kind of electromagnetic force field, a properly phased repulsor blast should take care of that. And so Iron Man aims his repulsors at Doom. Bah, it matters little now. And so look, Doom is jumping down a trap door. Vroom. Iron Man realizes Doom's bugging out. I figured he'd have an escape ready. He's not getting away that easy. Scrunch. Hulk jumps down the floor, and so he's going to go after Doom. Thoom. Doom, says Hulk. Maybe the FF let you get away, but you won't escape me. Doom looks around and says, you dare? Arg, says Hulk as attack. Doom shoots a power bolt out of his gauntlet. Doom says, fool, Doom never surrenders. If that was your best shot, you just made a big mistake, says the Hulk. Now, you made me mad. And you don't want to make the Hulk mad, because you won't like him when he's angry. And so he grabs Doom by his faceplate, and here comes Iron Man. No, Hulk, don't. Back off, Iron Man, says the Hulk. Whoops. Nobody tells me what to do. Scrack. And look, he rips Doom's head off. Well, Iron Man says, phew. For a second, I thought, how do you know that was a robot? Hulk says, a robot? He didn't know it was a robot. And uh, so I guess if it really had been Doom, he'd have ripped his head off. That would have not been pretty. All right. Instead, we see these bunch of wires snapping and crackling and popping. Thor says, we must hasten to find the real Doom before... Vroom! What the devil? Says Iron Man. Here comes Giant Man and Major Bowman and the Wasp. The forward corridors are impassable, and the whole craft is listing to the port. Doom must have scuttled it. Wasp says, we have to get out of here, but we can't get back to the copter. Iron Man says, then we'll just have to find another way out. I found an ejection pod, but it's just big enough for one. Iron Man says, get in, Major. No, Iron Man. Major Bowman is going to play the hero. I have a duty to fulfill. The Wasp should take the pod. The Wasp and Ant-Man could. Of course, they could shrink down, but Wasp says, no, we're not running out on you. Hulk says, I don't believe this. He shoves Bowman into the escape pod. We don't have time for the noble hero game. Hey, says Bowman, what are you? I'm just saving the cost of a military funeral, Major. Eject! And so he sends the escape pod outward. And someone said, your rash act has saved one life, Hulk, but jeopardized two others. Patoom! As the escape pod leaves the craft. And at insect size, Ant-Man and the Wasp could have used that pod as well. Hulk said, she just said they wouldn't. Now shut up and give me a hand. He's right, says Iron Man. We have to create our own exit. Crunch! Hulk just rips open the side of the fortress. Crack, rumble, thboom. It's time to bail, folks. It's now or never, says Iron Man. He says, Ant-Man, Wasp, assume your smaller sizes. Upon my shoulders shall you escape this doomed vessel. That must be Thor saying that. And and Hulk just says, Geronimo. And the flying fortress goes, ballroom. All right, wow, says the Wasp. Incredible, says Iron Man. Doom sacrificed that amazing craft just to stop us. And still he failed, says Thor, as shall all who dare oppose the mighty Avengers. Moments later, on a rocky Long Island shore, Hulk says, so much for Doom's flying death trap. I hope it cost him plenty. Same here, says Iron Man. Thanks for taking the point, Hulk. Huh, says Hulk. Somebody had to. And then Iron Man turns to Giant Man. And you really saved the day, Ant-Man, Giant Man. How did you grow? Trade secret, says Giant Man. Maybe I'll tell you someday. But this little lady deserves credit for the save. And don't you forget it, big man, says the Wasp. While Doom was busy ignoring me, I was checking the on-screen schematics of his ship. And as I figured out everyone's locations, I transmitted the directions to Ant-Man, or rather Giant Man, because remember, the Wasp has these antennae that communicate to her partner. Hulk says, still, Doom played us all for fools. I hate that. Oh, look on the bright side, Hulk, says the Wasp. We overcame Doom's traps, and he certainly won't be using that ship again. I just wish that armor-plated creep had gone down with his ship, but I doubt it. Thor says, indeed, given his skills with robotics, I wonder, did we ever face the true Doctor Doom at all? That's an idea. Maybe the only Doom we ever saw was a robot of Doom. Miles away, a lone, grim figure watches the Avengers' every move with grudging respect. Doom, sitting far away in his throne, says, "You may never know, Asgardian. You may never know." So, the Avengers have survived their baptism of fire at the hands of Marveldom's most enigmatic mastermind. But next issue, the super team will be shaken to its very core by the menace of the bizarre Space Phantom. Miss it not. And indeed, we will not miss it. And since y'all always like to see the coming features, here's the cover of the next issue of the Avengers. And they'll be battling the Space Phantom. And we'll find out what strange powers he has to oppose the Avengers. All right? Well, I hope you enjoyed this account of the Avengers versus Doctor Doom. There's many more Avengers stories to come, and they're all really good. I'm looking forward to reading them to you, and I'm glad that you're going to follow along. All right, love you guys. Bye-bye for now.